Hi, this is Katie. In today's video, honestly, I'm going into this video not exactly knowing what I'm going to be talking about. I kind of have an idea, but I'm not really sure. It's kind of like a very vague idea of just me being honest with you guys about, goodness gracious, me being honest with you guys about how I'm not really sure what this channel is anymore. And that's like me being really, really vulnerable. I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys for a couple minutes, super relaxed. Like I probably won't even really edit this video very much, but I just kind of want to talk to you guys about what's going on, if that's okay. So I've been doing YouTube for almost 8 years. My first couple videos were about 10 years ago. Then I just like kind of didn't pay attention to them. Like I just kind of did them for fun like 10 years ago. And then about 8 years ago is when I actually like really started my YouTube channel, like 2 to 3 times a week consistently for almost 8 years. I think I started in March or April of 2015, which is like so crazy to think about. I've been doing this for so long. And for the first few years, I, had other jobs and I was doing other things. But then the last 3 years or so, this has been my only job. And if you've been here for a little while, you might know that not all of my content, but a lot of my content has been based around living in a car, road trips, and traveling. I would say about 60% or so, 65% maybe ish. I don't know. Around there has been, living in a car, being on the road, traveling, that kind of stuff. And the rest of it has been, either my personal life or food or mental health or just like personal, like Katie Carney life kind of thing. That's why I always say like it's travel lifestyle channel. I never say I have a travel channel. I never say I just have a living in my car channel. I say it's travel and lifestyle because there are lots of times when I'm not traveling and I'll talk to you guys about other things because I've just kind of wanted to take you guys along with me on my life. But I always wanted it to be in either a helpful way, an entertaining way, potentially like an inspiring way. And I hope that does not sound cocky, but just hopefully maybe some of my videos have helped or pushed you, or maybe you learned something. I want them to be educational and informative, and I'm going to get emotional. Let me start by saying I'm not quitting YouTube. Okay. That's not what's happening here. But the last couple years have just been like extra confusing on here, especially because I wasn't traveling as much. I still did travel a decent amount, but not as much as I used to. And I still did live in my car a little bit, but again, not as much as I used to. And then last year I got sick, and if you don't know, I have like this rare esophagus disorder, and it made me really, really sick. And I still have it now, but it's just something I'm dealing with day to day. And it's one of those things that if you've also been watching me for a while, I struggle with a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of intrusive negative thoughts, a lot of overwhelm. And I think sometimes people might see me, people who don't know me, or even people who know me maybe, might see me, work really hard on this channel and do a lot of these things. And their immediate assumption is she's okay. She's doing okay. The fact that she has this channel means that she's doing okay. Or the fact that she is recording, or the fact that she's still posting means that she's doing okay. And I just want to be honest that for me and for lots of people, just because I'm still posting or just because I'm able to do this does not mean that it means I'm okay. It does not mean that it's easy. It does not mean that, it doesn't mean anything like that. What it actually means, for me at least, is that sometimes I am good. Sometimes I love being on camera and editing's really, really fun, and I love posting, and I'm excited about where this channel's going to keep going. But there are lots of times that I just don't share, obviously. You might see a combined hour of my whole week, and so there's lots of things that I don't share. And there are some things that I keep private on purpose, but there are also just some things that you're just not going to see because you're not going to see anyone's full life besides your own. And so lately, especially the last year or two, I would say, year and a half, has been really hard. I don't want to cry. I just did my makeup. Started wearing eyeshadow again. I don't want to cry right now. Crying's fine if you want to cry, but I don't personally want to cry right now. It's been really, really hard. And I know I've missed a couple videos here and there, but I've generally stayed pretty consistent with this, and I've gotten a little bit better at answering DMs and things like that, but it does not mean that I was doing it because it was easy. It meant that I was pushing through as much as I possibly could. Because a lot of you guys know that I talk a lot about, like, do it afraid, don't just quit because it's hard and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not quitting. That's not what's happening here. I'm not giving up. I'm not doing any of that. And well, generally I talk about don't give up when it's hard. Sometimes I think quitting can be okay if you like really know that something's not good for you. But what I mean is like, I am not a really big advocate of just giving up because something's hard. I'm a bigger fan of quitting if you know something's not right for you, or pushing through even if it's hard, but you know that it is right for you. And over the last, again, like year and a half, and it kind of started, I would say, when, it was probably, like mid 2021, or no, maybe even a little bit earlier than that I was just having some trouble on here. I was getting attacked a lot. And then the year of 2021 was an absolute nightmare in terms of my health. I got tendinitis. I had a leg injury. I got my esophagus disorder. And my esophagus disorder, when it first started, was so bad that I could not really drink water for like a week and a half. I had to force down a cup of water because it hurt so bad. It was very, very severe. And then last year, I dealt with a really horrific breakup, which I know a lot of people go through these things. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to say that I'm special because I got sick and because I went through a couple bad breakups. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I do not handle things like that very well. And for me, I have to push through. I'm not someone who has like good emotional regulation. I'm not. And again, I know there are lots of people like me. I know there's lots of people who have anxiety. Lots of people have depression. I'm not saying that I'm special in that regard. I'm just saying that me personally, I don't handle things very well sometimes. And I have very strong emotions. And there are certain times when I feel like I can't get out of bed. And there are certain times when I know it's good for me to rest. And there are other times when I'm like, Katie, it is better for you. Like, I know for me personally, it's better for me sometimes to push myself, because sometimes I do end up feeling a little bit better in the moment, not better overall, but better in the moment if I do something productive, if I get out of bed, if I do something. And so I've kept going. I've kept pushing myself. And I feel so weak. Like I feel like I've been like messing up. I made this channel because I wanted to share with other people, and what it's turned into is that I just want to do what I can to use the gifts that God gave me to help other people. That's what I think most people want to do in their lives. If you ask most people what do they want to do with their lives, a lot of people are going to say, I want to help people, which is so good. Like, that's such a good thing that people can want to do. And I think it's different for everyone depending on the gifts that God gave you and what you enjoy, what you're good at, all that kind of stuff. People can change the world just by smiling at other people, and other people are going to change the world curing diseases. Some people are going to change the world teaching children. Like, there's all different ways to change the world, or to change one person, right? Because changing one person, I think, means you can change the world. I think it's good to have that drive, because there are some people who don't care about that kind of stuff. They just kind of care about themselves and their own family, but I've always been someone that I'm like, no, I want to reach more. And so some of that has been, showing you where I travel, because I know some people are not going to get to the places that I've gotten to. And so maybe I can just show you what it looks like. And some of it has been trying to give helpful tips about living in a car. If you want to, or if you're forced to, I wanted to give helpful tips on how to do it. And to be safe, and to be warm, and to eat, And then some of my videos, I just want to be fun and entertaining and silly. And some of my videos, I want to talk about mental health because I know it's such a big deal, especially in our country. I don't know about other countries' cultures and how their mental health is, but I know in America, our mental health collectively sucks. And I personally think that a lot of that, my personal opinion, is that, not a lot of it, but at least some of it is because so many of us look inward. What can we do? What can I do? I'm going to focus on myself. And I personally don't think that's the best way to help ourselves, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but I don't think that focusing on ourselves is the best way to change. I think being aware of ourselves and being honest, taking accountability, all those things, yes, 100%. But I don't think that focus in like a complete focus way, that's what I mean. I don't think that's the best way to help our mental health. I think seeing that we are part of a collective greater good and what we can do for that collective greater good. And sometimes it means we're not going to do things that we want to do, but things that are right, things that are best. That's what's good to do. But I think there's a big difference between focusing on myself and taking care of myself. And I think taking care of yourself is good. I don't like when people say, oh, you'll be fine. or, oh, you'll get better one day. Because it's not true. You can be fine and you can get better one day, whatever better means to you. But it's not true that you will. Some people do live the rest of their lives with depression, with anxiety, with any other diagnoses that you can have. Some people live like that forever. And they can work on it. They can work on it hard. They can take meds. They can go to therapy. They can change their circumstances. They can do like self-therapy. They can work on their mindset. They can work on their family. They can volunteer. They can give. They can do a lot of things. And they can still struggle with depression, anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, any diagnosis. You can still struggle with that the rest of your life no matter what you do. It is something that could happen. Or you could work on those things and it could get better. It could get more manageable. You could feel free from those things. That's also possible. I've struggled with stuff since I was 19. And I'm just going to be honest here. I do not want to sound like a Debbie Downer. I want to be honest. I've just gotten worse mentally. Things have gotten a lot harder for me. Certain basic things have just gotten a lot harder for me. And again, you know that I don't believe in not doing something because it's difficult, but I also do think that it's drastically different when you struggle with mental health issues. If you're someone who is more emotionally stable or does not have severe mental health issues, you might be like, Katie, who cares? Or you might be like, well, Katie, you talk about pushing through all the time, but now you're saying sometimes it's different. Well, yeah, I do think it's different. Depends on the person. Whenever I talk about things, I never talk about it in like it pertains to 100% of the people, because that just wouldn't make any sense, right? We're all so different. But when we're talking about mental health things, there are just some things that do hold us back a little bit more, that I do still think that we can push through. I have been. It's going to just be harder. And there are just going to be certain things that we do not do the same as people who are mentally healthy. That's just fact. There are just going to be some things that we do not do, or that we don't do in the same way, at least, you know. Anyway, where am I going with this? I don't know. I think I'm struggling with this channel and I don't really know what it is anymore because I haven't been traveling. My views are drastically low, even when I'm traveling, even when I talk about living in my car. Even when I was living in my car a year and a half ago, they were still low. I know it might not seem it because I don't talk about it, but I've been trying so many different things to try to like hope that you like my videos. And oh my gosh, I'm going to sound like I'm making excuses. And I know some of you guys are going to just make fun of me for it, which is one of the scary things about posting online. Because being this vulnerable and then having people like twist your words and make fun of you just sucks, you know? And it's not that I need thicker skin. It's just that it just sucks. I think what I was getting at before, because I know this video is all over the place. I might not even post it. I'm scared to post this. I think my whole thing I was getting at before is that I don't think it's good to focus on yourself, but I think it's good to take care of yourself. Because I think focusing, it just, I don't know. I think that just gets a little bit selfish and that kind of stuff. I think it's good to think of yourself collectively as the greater good. Do what's right. Don't just do what you feel like doing, that kind of stuff. But the thing is, in terms of focus / taking care of yourself, which are very different to me, I don't even think I've been taking care of myself. I've been thinking about this a lot the last week or two. I think that my basic needs, basic needs are barely being met. You guys know that I'm still even struggling with my diet. Like, I don't even know what I can eat. I still feel sick very often just because of food. So my basic needs are barely being met. I don't sleep very well. I think those basic needs are not getting met. But I'm still trying to do, like, these things. You know, I'm doing YouTube. I'm writing my book. I'm trying to do things that are over here when my basic needs are not even met. And I wonder if that's one of the reasons why some of this is so much harder, because I'm skipping steps. I was talking about this with one of my friends the other day, and I kind of explained it like I just broke my leg and I'm trying to run a marathon. Instead of, well, my leg's broken, so I got to give it time to heal. And then depending on the severity, I might have to relearn how to walk and then jog and then run a marathon. There's steps. And I'm nervous that the last year or so, I have not been paying attention to this. I've just been distracting myself, being like, Katie, it doesn't matter. You have to do this. When it's like, you know what? I think I can do them both at the same time. It's not like I'm going to stop doing YouTube to take care of myself. That's not what I mean either. Which I'm not saying that some other people don't have to do that, because I know some people do have to do that. But for me, that's not what I mean. What I mean is I'm only focusing on this, and I'm not focusing on this. And focus. I don't want to use that word. I'm looking at this and I'm working on this when I'm not working on this. And I don't think that's good, because I also think that it's hindering this for me. But I still want to do what I can to have this channel for you, for whoever's watching it right now, for you. I want to have the channel for you. It does scare me because I'm not making really enough money to really do much more than exist. I don't know if this video is really making any sense. I guess maybe if you want to help me a little bit, can you let me know like what your favorite videos of mine are, and you know what thumbnails you like the best, or what titles you like the best, or the topics, or just anything like that, you know. And I hope that we can be kind. This is a very hard video for me to record, and I know it's a confusing video too because I don't even really know what it's about, but if we can just be kind, because I'm being very vulnerable right now. Yeah, and just let me know like what your favorite videos of mine are, maybe still in a kind way, maybe what videos you don't really like as much, and maybe even just like, yeah, like what you would watch more of, you know, because again, YouTube is it's a confusing kind of job. I love it, but it's complicated in a certain way because I'm not like a trendy YouTuber. I never was. You know, I didn't do car life because it was trendy. I just wanted to live in a car. It wasn't trendy. It was not trendy. There were very few people living in cars. I didn't even know them yet. I think there was like one girl, Allie. I think she was like the one girl who really had like a big YouTube channel living in a car before I did. But I didn't even watch her yet. I didn't even know about her before I lived in my car. I did not live in my car because I saw it on social media. I just wanted to. So I didn't do it because it was trendy. And a lot of you guys probably know by now, if you follow my Instagram or even on here, I don't follow trends. That's not what I do. And is that maybe one of the reasons why my channel's suffering? Maybe. Because a lot of people like those trends. Like, I want to do what you guys want to see, but that also lines up with who I am and what I want to be doing. So yeah, if you guys could just let me know that much. But also, I just kind of wanted to come on here and say that I know I need to start working on this side of like the taking care of myself. I'm not entirely sure what that means, because here's the thing, I've tried, and I hate that word. I hate that word. I've put the effort in so many times to take care of myself. Again, not focus on myself, but to take care of my basic needs. I change my diet all the time. For my mental health, I've been on meds. I've been on several meds. Not in the last 6 years, but I was a lot in my 20s. They tried so many different meds, and they either did not work or I was allergic to them. The last medicine I ever took, I was 30 years old, and after taking it for a few weeks, I woke up covered in a rash. It's terrifying. That's one of the reasons that I hate when people say, oh, you have depression, just go to therapy and take meds. It's like, it's not that easy for some people. Some people it helps, and that's awesome when you find something that helps you. But sometimes it's not that easy for some people. And then therapy, you know, I've enjoyed therapy at certain spots, and then I've had some therapists that have not been helpful at all, because again, that's like just something else that depends on the person. And that's with two people, because you have me and the therapist. So that's like just finding like a new relationship almost. That sometimes is hard. I have like 10 self-help books in the house. I have worked on certain relationships with people, with friends, family. I have cut some people out if I think they're not right for me. Like, I have done so much work. That's why I don't like the word try. I put effort into a lot, and it just hasn't worked yet. And so sometimes I feel defeated and I get very, very overwhelmed. But so basically, I am going to keep doing more here. I'm still figuring out my diet. I have those books. I'm going to read them, and I'm going to just do what I can to continue to learn about myself, because I think part of it is sometimes I don't really know certain things about myself. And so I know I need to do those things, and I will. I've put effort in the past. I will continue to do that because I have to. I don't like the idea of just surviving. Sometimes I get into survival mode and I have to. That's all I can do. But overall in my whole life, I really hope there are places I can thrive. And I know I need to do that. And I think one of the reasons that I wanted to come on here was to say that I know a lot of YouTubers, Instagrammers, social media people, especially like the motivational, entrepreneurial, public speaker kind of people. And this is even the same with like a lot of like self-help memoirs with people. I know a lot of them talk about their struggles after they've already completed fixing themselves. And I put that in quotes because no one is ever as perfect as they seem, okay? But that's never what I do. And I think for some people, they don't like that. I think some people want like the storybook ending. Well, look, see, these are the 5 steps that I took, and look at me now, I'm perfect. And I think some people want that. And I'm not even saying that that's wrong, because I totally get why you would want that. All I'm saying is that's not what I'm doing with my life and with what I share. when I share things, I generally share them like kind of in the moment. It might be, you know, a couple weeks later or whatever. But when I talk about my mental health or things like that, I don't talk about it to say, I cured myself and here's how you can do it too. That's not it. I talk about it saying, I'm also struggling. Let's talk about it, you know? And so maybe one of the things I'll do on here is talk more about that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll start a new series of like, work on yourself with me. Because again, I think the people who are done with their transformation, and I hope I don't sound like I'm making fun of them because some of them are incredibly helpful. But I think some of them who are done, they'll talk about their struggles, but they're all past tense. And so they're going to be like, here was my struggle and here's what I did to overcome it. And again, I hope that we can all understand that they still are not perfect right now. No one is perfect except for Jesus. Like how they are now, they might be really content with their lives and that's awesome. And they might be successful in the ways that they define success, but it does not mean that they still do not struggle sometimes. They might just not talk about it. They might talk about struggle in a past tense. What I do on here and what I think I want to continue doing is talk about struggle in a present tense. Because even if you figured out how to fix it last year, something else might happen now that you can't fix the same way. Being vulnerable comes a little bit easier for me than other people. I know that, but it's still very scary to post it online for thousands of people to watch me say, hey, I'm still struggling. Hey, I'm overwhelmed. Hey, I don't know what's going on right now in my life. Because I think a lot of people would keep quiet and a lot of people would even recommend to keep quiet in stages like this. But I think if I'm going to help other people more, it might be helpful that I'm vocal in these times when I feel super low. And maybe it would be good to have a series. Maybe that can just be like my Sunday vlogs that I was doing for a while. I haven't done them in a couple weeks, but maybe it can kind of be like me working on myself kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not necessarily asking for like overall advice because I know we are all so different, but I would like your advice at least on the basics of just like, what are your favorite videos of mine? And what would you like to see more of on this channel? I would really like to know because I want to keep going. And I know that some people might get mad that I want more views, but I also hope that you guys can understand that this is a full-time, if not full-time plus job. And as much as I love it, I still would like to make sure that I can support myself financially with it. If you're watching this video, please, please, please believe me that this was very, very hard for me to post because I don't even know if I'm going to. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being subscribed. Thank you for just being here. If you've been here for a week, you've been here for 8 years. Thank you for being here. I also, just one last thing. If I am making a video and I'm smiling and I'm giggling, maybe I am having a good time for that 15 minutes. But again, also, that does not mean that I didn't cry 2 hours prior. Like, social media is not a full picture of real life. You know what I mean? And so I know there are going to be some people on here to be like, oh, Katie's just crying to get attention, or she's lying, or she's exaggerating. And it's like, or maybe the other things you've just seen are just parts of my day. And so some parts of my day are fun or are good, or I'm busy, I'm productive, I'm okay sometimes. And there are some parts of my day when I'm miserable. And that the miserable outweighs the good a lot of the time, but I'm pushing through because I know God needs me to. Again, that does not mean that I push through every day. I just want to do what's right. And I've just been struggling figuring that out lately because I don't know. I've just been struggling figuring it out. And just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about it. So yeah, I think I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are subscribed. And I guess that's going to be it. Thank you again. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. Ooh, that was hard. That was hard. That was hard.